Congratulations. Melissa, let me start with you. Three-peat. How are you feeling right now?
Good, happy. Did what I wanted to do individually and then came back together with my girls, my training partners, and we were all able to walk away with the gold medal, so I'm really happy about that.
No one expected her to do this. In one of the most jaw-dropping performances in track and field history, 24-year-old Melissa Jefferson Wooden just pulled off something nearly unthinkable. On the grand stage of the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, she didn't just win, she obliterated the field. One race after another, she ran with a level of dominance that left the world's fastest women chasing her shadow. By the end of the 9-day championship, she had secured gold in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and 4x100-meter relay. Only one other woman in history has ever done that. And now, Melissa Jefferson Wooden's name is forever etched alongside legends. This wasn't just a victory, it was a takeover. It all started with the 100-meter dash, sprinting's purest test. All eyes were on the big names, Sha'Carri Richardson, Shericka Jackson, and the legendary Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, running what could be her final worlds. But when the gun fired, it was Jefferson Wooden who exploded out of the blocks like a rocket. In just 10.61 seconds, she crossed the line and made history. It was the fastest 100 meters ever run at a world championship and the fourth fastest time in history. Even more shocking, the ease with which she did it. There was no struggle, no stumble, just clean, brutal efficiency. The 100-meter win was just the beginning. Most expected her to stop there, to maybe make the 200-meter final but fade out against the specialists. But Melissa had other plans. Round after round, she stayed composed. From the heats to the semis, she barely looked like she was trying, yet she was consistently out front. The final came and the stadium erupted. Could she really do it again? She didn't just win, she crushed it. Her 200-meter time of 21.68 seconds not only secured gold, but stood as the fastest in the world that year. Rivals like Shericka Jackson and Britain's Amy Hunt couldn't catch her. And while the others faded in the final 50 meters, Jefferson Wooden only got stronger. Her form was pristine, her stride long and confident. It was a run that screamed power and precision. That moment officially crowned her as the new sprint queen. But she wasn't finished. There was still one more title to claim, the 4x100-meter relay, and this one meant just as much as the others. Sprinting may start as an individual pursuit, but relays are about trust, timing, and teamwork. The U.S. team was loaded: Sha'Carri Richardson, Tamari Davis, T.T. Terry, and of course, Melissa Jefferson Wooden. She took the baton in the third leg and gave the U.S. a commanding lead by the final handoff. Sha'Carri brought it home, and the team clocked 41.75 seconds in wet conditions. That performance gave Jefferson Wooden her third gold medal of the championship and sealed her place in history. Only one woman had ever swept the 100 meters, 200 meters, and 4x100 meters at a single World Championships before, the great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in 2013. Jefferson Wooden just became the second. There was something poetic about the way things played out in Tokyo. Fraser-Pryce, the Jamaican sprint icon, was running her final championship. At 38 years old, she still helped her team to silver in the relay, earning her 17th World Championship medal. But the spotlight had shifted. A new era had arrived, and it wasn't just handed to Melissa. She took it. It's crazy to be going home with 3 gold medals. I added my name to the history books once again. I am right where I want to be, she said after the relay. That wasn't cocky. It was calm, confident truth. She knew exactly what she had done, and she did it all under pressure. The Tokyo Championships were soaked in rain, and the track conditions were far from perfect. Wet surfaces, cold air, nervous energy. But none of that shook her focus. Where others slipped or tensed up, Jefferson Wooden seemed completely in control. Her calm demeanor on the track, even in the rain, drew comparisons to Florence Griffith Joyner. Flojo, who still holds the world records in both the 100 meters and 200 meters, had that same blend of flash and ferocity. Jefferson Wooden isn't chasing her style, but she might just be chasing her records. After her 100-meter win, Melissa hinted that she's got bigger goals in mind. Flojo's record? I think it's possible, she said with a grin. And based on what we just witnessed, it's hard to doubt her. She ran 10.61 in less than ideal conditions. That's just 0.12 seconds away from FloJo's 1988 world record of 10.49. With better weather, better wind, and more experience, it's within reach. Her 200-meter time, too, is approaching dangerous territory. Only a few women have ever broken 21.68, and most of them have been accused of performance-enhancing help. Melissa is doing it clean, and she's just getting started. Jefferson Wooden's rise has been fast, but not sudden. She was already a standout in college and had flashes of brilliance in earlier seasons, but injuries in 2024 sidelined her, causing many to overlook her coming into the 2025 season. She used that time to recover, refocus, and come back stronger. And when 2025 began, she exploded onto the scene. Every meet, every round, she looked sharper, hungrier, more prepared. By the time she arrived in Tokyo, the stage was set, and she delivered a performance for the ages. Melissa was born on February 21, 2001 in Georgetown, South Carolina. She didn't have elite-level resources, but what she lacked in facilities, she made up for in raw talent and relentless work. She won multiple South Carolina state titles as a freshman and even dabbled in long jump and cross country. But sprinting was always her calling. She took her talents to Coastal Carolina University, where she truly broke out. In 2022, she won the NCAA Indoor 60-meter title in 7.09 seconds. At the 2022 and 2023 World Championships, she was already showing signs of greatness, helping Team USA win gold in the 4x100-meter relay. In 2024, she took bronze in the 100 meters at the Paris Olympics and helped secure another gold in the relay. Coming into 2025, she was ranked among the top 5 in the world, but few expected her to be the one to sweep all 3 sprints. At the U.S. Championships earlier in 2025, she ran 10.65 in the 100 meters and 21.84 in the 200 meters, signaling her readiness for something big. Tokyo just confirmed what the numbers were already saying. She was peaking. Jefferson Wooden won the 100 meters in 10.61 seconds, the fastest time ever at Worlds and 4th fastest in history. She followed it with a 21.68 in the 200 meters, the year's best, and anchored a 41.75 second 4x100-meter relay win in tough, rainy conditions. Unlike many sprinters who shine in one event, she's shown she can dominate across distances and formats. The 100 demands reaction time and raw power. The 200 adds curve running and stamina. The relay adds timing and teamwork. She did them all and made it look easy. Melissa Jefferson Wooden is more than just fast. She represents a shift, a changing of the guard. She's part of a new generation that isn't waiting for permission to be great. She's not following a path, she's paving it. For young girls watching around the world, especially in the US, she's now a face to look up to, confident, composed, and competitive without being flashy. She lets her running do the talking. She's hinted at wanting to chase more records. She's also expressed interest in inspiring more women in sports, and maybe even stepping into mentorship roles. But for now, one thing is certain. The world will be watching whatever she does next. And the pressure? It's only going to grow. Track fans will remember the 2025 World Championships for a lot of things. The rain, the relay upsets, Fraser-Pryce's final run. But above all, they'll remember the woman who showed up and ran like nobody could touch her. Melissa Jefferson Wooden may have just started a sprinting empire, and if she has her way, this is just the beginning.
Just grateful. You know it's there and you put the work in. It's just when you see it kind of come to fruition, it's always just a bit of disbelief. I knew it was going to be a really fast race, great competition, so just to kind of see it all come together, there's always just a bit of awe and wonder.
The 400-meter final in Tokyo turned into a moment that stunned the world. Sydney, known for dominating the hurdles, stepped into unfamiliar territory and made it look effortless. From the gun, her stride was smooth, controlled, almost unreal. By halfway, the crowd sensed it. This wasn't just another race, it was history unfolding. For many years, Marita Koch's time of 47.60 seemed like a wall nobody could break. People called it untouchable, and it came from a time in track and field filled with questions and controversy. But on September 18th, 2025, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone came closer than anyone before, less than 0.2 of a second away from ending one of the sport's most talked about records.
I think, Bobby believed that at the time was there, and I believed in Bobby and our work. So it really just was a matter of putting the pieces together and running my race. I think it kind of just shows that anything really is possible. You just got to work for it and work really hard.
Her time of 47.78 not only earned her gold at the World Championships, but made her the second fastest woman in history over the distance. The East German shadow may still loom, but Sydney brought the light. But this wasn't just about one race. This was the culmination of years of grit, faith, and one bold career pivot. Because McLaughlin-Levrone wasn't supposed to be here, not in this race at least. She built her name as the Queen of the 400-meter hurdles, dominating the event with a world record of 50.37 and 2 Olympic golds. But in 2025, she made a choice that left many doubting. She dropped the hurdles. It wasn't a move made lightly. The hurdles weren't just her event, they were her kingdom. She was the first woman to break the 52-second barrier and then the 51-second barrier, carving her name into history again and again. And yet, after reigning supreme, she asked herself a bold question. What if I could be the best at something else? As it turns out, she could, but not without resistance. When she announced the switch, skeptics questioned her decision. Why leave an event you dominate? Why risk it all? But Sydney had something bigger in mind, as she told reporters.
Prayer, a lot of trusting the process. I know there was a lot of doubt from a lot of people for me making this switch, and I just wanted to show myself I can do it. Ultimately, it was trusting the Lord and trusting the process, and honestly, I'm just really grateful.
The time came in Tokyo. The weather was far from ideal. Rain soaked the national stadium, the wind was erratic, and puddles clung to the track. But McLaughlin-Levrone ran with a serenity that defied the chaos. Her form never broke, her poise never wavered. Even when Olympic champion Marilady Paulino surged alongside her from lane 9, Sydney didn't panic. She found another gear. She pulled away. And she crossed the line as the first woman in nearly 4 decades to run under 48 seconds. This wasn't just victory, it was vindication and a warning, because the story doesn't end with a single gold medal. It begins there. McLaughlin-Levrone is now teasing something even more audacious, a double, competing in both the 400-meter flat and the 400-meter hurdles at the Olympics, a feat so grueling, so rare, that it's only been considered by legends. Her coach, the legendary Bobby Kersee, is pushing for it. Based in Los Angeles, the host of the 2028 Games, Kersee is already talking to organizers about tweaking the schedule to make room for McLaughlin-Levrone's historic bid. It's not unprecedented. Olympic organizers have made exceptions before for icons like Michael Johnson and Allison Felix. Now, Sydney might be next. But the question isn't just, can she do it? It's also, does she want to? Yeah, there's been a lot of talk of doubles, she said. Is it possible is one thing, do I want to do it is another. If she does, it would set the stage for one of the most electrifying Olympic storylines in history. McLaughlin-Levrone isn't just competing against the clock anymore, she's challenging the boundaries of what one athlete can achieve in 2 of the sport's most grueling events. Yet, whether she goes for the double or not, her legacy is already secured. She's 26 years old, already a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, a multi-time world champion, and the owner of records that once seemed unreachable. She's the first woman to break 52 seconds, 51 seconds, and now 48 seconds in events once thought to be past human limits. And it all began long before Tokyo. Sydney was born into a family of athletes. Her father, Willie McLaughlin, was a semi-finalist in the 400 meters at the 1984 Olympic trials. Her mother, Mary, ran track on a boys' team because her school didn't have a girls' team. Sydney followed in their footsteps and then sprinted far beyond them. By age 15, she was already world-class, winning gold at the 2015 World Youth Championships in the 400-meter hurdles. A year later, she qualified for the Rio Olympics as the youngest U.S. track athlete since 1980. She didn't make the finals, but the message was clear. The future had arrived. She went on to rewrite records at every level, high school, college, and professional. At the University of Kentucky, she obliterated the collegiate record in the 400-meter hurdles. By 2021, she had a world record and Olympic gold. And in 2022, she became the first woman to ever run under 51 seconds in the hurdles, clocking 50.68 at the World Championships in Eugene. But even with the medals and records, she wasn't done evolving. The 2023 season saw her experiment with flat sprints, clocking 48.74 in the 400 and winning races in the 200 meters against seasoned sprinters. She wasn't just dabbling, she was announcing her arrival. Then came 2024. At the Paris Olympics, she did it again, defending her 400-meter hurdles title with another world record, 50.37 seconds. But it was her flat sprint performances that hinted at something bigger. She ran 48.75 at the New York Grand Prix, then signed on for Michael Johnson's Grand Slam Track League. All signs pointed to the inevitable, a shift from the hurdles to the flat 400. And by the time the 2025 World Championships came around, she wasn't just ready, she was unstoppable. In the semis, she ran 48.29, breaking the U.S. record. Then in the final, she delivered 47.78, the fastest time in 4 decades, a new championship record, and maybe, just maybe, a preview of what's coming next. Because while Koch's 47.60 still sits atop the record books, it no longer feels untouchable. McLaughlin-Levrone has made it look mortal, and athletes like Polino and Salwa Eid Nasser, who finished 2nd and 3rd in Tokyo, agree. I think the women's 400-meter world record will be broken very soon, Nasser said. So what's next for Sydney? She's not saying yet, but her smile after the race said plenty. I think it shows that anything really is possible, she told reporters. But I don't have any more words for you guys right now. I'm still trying to process all of it. And really, who could blame her? When you're rewriting the limits of human performance, sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Whether she chases both events in LA or focuses on one, McLaughlin-Levrone has already changed the game. The 400-meter is no longer just a sprint, it's a stage, and she's the main act. What she's done isn't just win races, it's made fans believe that records, no matter how old or controversial, are there to be broken. That switching events isn't retreat, it's evolution. And that greatness isn't static, it grows. Even the younger athletes watching her, many of them in middle school or high school, are seeing something brand new. Sydney is showing that success doesn't have to look one way. You can succeed by taking risks. You can lead by being different. That's a message young athletes will carry with them. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone didn't just run a fast time, she redefined the sport. And now every 400-meter runner in the world has a new standard. Her name is etched next to greatness, and she's just getting started.
Gout winding up and winding up. It's Lavelle to Bogo. Gout gets through to 4th. It's 1978.
17-year-old Gout was supposed to be the next big thing in sprinting, but his world championship debut just ended with some harsh criticism that's got everyone talking. On Thursday night in Tokyo, the atmosphere at Japan National Stadium was electric as the men's 200-meter semifinals got underway. Light rain was falling, making the track slippery, but that didn't stop the world's fastest men from putting on a show, and right in the middle of it all was Australia's teenage sensation, Gout, carrying the hopes of an entire nation on his young shoulders. The kid had already made history just by being there. At 17 years old, he became the youngest man ever selected for an Australian World Championships team. That's not just impressive, it's unprecedented. But making the team and competing with the big boys are two very different things, as Gout was about to discover. When the gun fired for the second semifinal, Gout found himself in a loaded heat. Brian Level from Jamaica was there,